Hello, Carolyn. Hope you're doing well. We've made it to the end of the course, which is kind of crazy. Excuse me. Very exciting. I am doing your reply here for week 7. I just want to say, first of all, I thoroughly enjoyed your questions and loved reading your post here. I've loved reading a lot of your posts throughout the last couple weeks as well. So you've been doing a great job. I guess starting into it, I really want to say the questions that you pose are ones that maybe I thought of like subconsciously, not like um, right away in my brain, but they're ones that I'm like, oh yeah, that is probably one I would have thought of. What I love about all of them is that they're so like real. They're like very real questions and not surface level at all. Like I can tell you really put a lot of thought into these questions. I don't know. I mean, at least from my perspective, it kind of shows that you did. And they're all things that just are so relatable. So I really just like appreciated that as someone that was reading them. Like, of course, the first one talking about, um, how can an individual use the Bible as guidelines for counseling if everyone interprets it differently? That is something that um, I think is a hard question, even when you're not looking at doing counseling at all. Like, people interpret the Bible in so many different ways. Um, and I think it's one that um, I don't know. I think it's a personal thing, but it's also you know, kind of what you said, like what you gather from your experience and what you've grown up with. Maybe I don't know if there's a specific answer, but I just really loved the question that you posed, and of course the second one addressing situations in which we encourage people of faith, but things are getting worse for them. That's something that I think a lot of you know people my age. I'm 25, and I think a lot of Christians my age struggle with that. Of you know, I even growing up in high school and stuff, I had a lot of friends that were like, well, there's a lot of bad things still happening to me, to others around them, to the world at large. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of, I think there's a lot to complain. Complain isn't the right word, but it's the one that comes to mind. Of for someone to say, well, to disregard God's love, even through the pain. And I'm not saying it's easy. It's not at all. Um, but I think that's where a lot of the counseling techniques come in. At least for my perspective of my experience, is that you use our faith, and then also the counseling techniques to kind of work in tandem. And I think uh, part of me thinks, I wonder how many Christian counselors kind of see it opposite. Collins even talked about like this new age of therapy and things like that, and how it's just all different. They believe different things, have different worldviews than Christian counselors. But I think from my perspective, you can kind of use it together. You can use your faith, your worldview, and the counseling techniques and kind of try and put them together. Again, and then lastly, of course, I think I loved what you said, because it was also one of the questions that I had, was like, I'm see myself more so working in a secular setting rather than a Christian counseling setting. So how do we take these principles or these worldviews or things like that, and kind of use that in a setting where we're not going to particularly explicitly talk about Christian values or Christian counseling or anything like that? I think that would have been a very valuable discussion, given all the different types of people that were involved in this class. So anyway, like I said, I loved what you said. I hope some of that made sense. And I hope you have a great rest of your week and enjoy the last week of class. We're almost done. Okay, bye.